Bob and Ray. Long-time listener here. Do you have any therapists that you'd recommend along with your program?
Next, Wayside Doctor. Now, once again, we present Wayside Doctor, a story with medical overtones set in the lush beauty of Honolulu. Starring Simpleton Ferg as Dr. David Mugu, Hawaiian Eye, ear, nose, and throat man. Dr. Mugu is back at work at Papuli General Hospital, and in his office it's shortly before 10 in the morning now as we join him at Akbar Mai Tai.
Well, I just removed a rose tattoo from a gentleman.
Oh,
Had it on his upper arm here.
You find that this is satisfying work for you, Doctor?
I think I'm going to specialize in tattoo removing, and, of course, by appointment only, too.
Well, that makes it more professional looking, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll go out and look around for any luau's to be inspected.
What's that you got on your desk there?
Oh, that's a pineapple. I was just having my breakfast.
Oh, what did you say?
A pineapple.
Pineapple? Is this a type of apple that grows on a pine tree? Is it?
No. It's shaped a little like a pine cone, only different, but it grows close to the ground.
It's not edible, I don't suppose, eh?
Oh, it's delicious. Here, let me cut you a little
Really?
slice.
You can eat this?
Oh, it's one of our native fruits here in Hawaii.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Try that.
Does it grow on a tree or a bush?
No, a little low bush.
Oh, yeah. Let me have it. See, that is
Succulent,
delicious.
isn't it?
Yes, it's hard to describe.
Well, it's tart, and yet it's sweet and juicy, and I'm
were they-
surprised you haven't tried it before. They can this, you know.
Hey, what?
They can. They mechanically take the outer cover off, and then they slice the pineapple, or they make chunks out of it.
Hey, you know, I was thinking as I just ate that small piece of pineapple that it would be delicious sitting right in the middle of a ham steak.
That's a great thing to do with it. Also, you can make juice out of pineapple and drink it, you see. Yes, pineapple juice.
Wow, this is it classified as a fruit, you say?
Yes.
As a vegetable?
Doctor, I can't understand. You were born and brought up here in Honolulu, and yet you've never tried the pineapple before?
Where did they get the name apple? It doesn't look anything like an apple.
Well, I don't know the answer to that.
And it's not on a pine tree either, is it?
No.
Pineapple. Pineapple. And people eat it, eh?
Oh, they sell thousands of them every day.
Well, I never cease to be amazed. Always something new. Always something to learn. That's the fun of living, I guess.
So we leave Dr. Mu'u as he philosophizes at Papuli General Hospital. Be sure and join us on Monday when we'll hear him expostulate.
How do you spell it now? P-I-N-E-A, and then what is it?
That's Monday in the next exciting episode of Wayside Doctor, starring Simpleton Ferg.
Now, do we have that report? Is that line in?
Yes, it is. Wally Ballou is standing by at the trophy train in Madison, Wisconsin right now for another on-the-scene report. So come in, please, Wally Ballou.
Madison, Wisconsin. Wally Ballou here at the trophy train. And as usual, there's a good crowd of fun-loving people, friends of the boys, who are here to go through and look at their documents, the plaques they've been awarded, various other citations, and, of course, the little human things, the personal items that have belonged to the boys, Bob and Ray, over the years. Ray's tennis shoes, first pair he ever bought, and his beaten-up old tennis racket with a hole right there in the middle of it. And Mr. Gilmore, what seems to have been the most popular feature today here in Madison?
Well, too, of course, the addition of the 5 lovely local Madison girls to dance is a sideshow to attract people into the train. And the first time that we put on display in the center of the trophy train Bob and Ray's 2 Peabody Awards. That has brought people very, very silent to that spot.
That almost calls for another trip back to Mandan, North Dakota, doesn't it? So
it
the
really
people
does.
went to see it.
This is the first time we've shown the 2 Bob and Ray Peabody Awards on the trophy train. But as I say, it's at that point where the people who are going through the car stop and get very somber as they look at those two awards that the great boys earned years back.
As well, they should look somber. I see the girls have clambered up onto the platform.
I might point out that as we go to each town, we'll select 5 local lovelies to do this particular dance.
Good idea.
All right, girls, go right ahead. These are Madison girls.
Point out that they do this without the help of money. They have
We
great
don't have
timing.
the money for an orchestra.
They don't need it, Mr. Gilmore. I was afraid of that. Yeah, you could tell the platform was going to give way. No one seems hurt. They're scrambling to their feet. And I think everything will be all right. Yes, they're waving. Everything is okay. They're on their feet. And we'll send it back now
I
to
could just cry.
New York. Now, the makers of Tingle, the long-wearing dental floss made of spun glass fiber, invite you to join us for another exciting adventure of Elmer W. Litzinger, Spy.
My name is Elmer W. Litzinger, Spy. It's my job to handle some of the toughest espionage assignments our government can hand out. Not long ago, a top-secret change was made in the deployment of American troops overseas. The Pentagon needed to know whether our potential enemies had found out about it, and it was up to me to infiltrate and listen. I went to a strange foreign city that I knew to be infested with enemy agents and hailed a cab.
Where to, Mac?
That city park where all the foreign agents hide in the bushes.
Check. You happen to be a foreign agent, pal?
Yes. Permit me to introduce myself. I'm Elmer W. Litzinger, Spy.
Well, nice to know you. I'm Abu El Zetz, cab driver. What brings you to our quiet little town? I say, what brings you to...
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. I just noticed that American soldier standing on the corner. And we aren't supposed to have any troops deployed around here at all now.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Could have sworn I read on microfilm somewhere that you had 3 divisions in this area.
Oh, no, that's all changed. See, these latest secret Pentagon figures show that those men are in Hawaii now, awaiting new assignments.
Son of a gun. Let me pull over the curb and look at that. I'll turn off the meter. You won't be charged.
Well, I don't want to bore you with my shop talk. I know how cab drivers hate for passengers to prattle on.
No, that's okay. American troop movements are, well, kind of a hobby with me. I like to write down all the latest stuff in my album here.
Oh, really? Well, perhaps you'd like to borrow my miniature camera and get some pictures of these secret documents for your collection.
Yeah, thanks. I don't have any of this data at all in my album.
Have you been collecting military secrets long?
Quite a while. I started in Korea in 1951, then I got some nice specimens in Cuba and Czechoslovakia later on. My employer encourages me to travel around and pursue my hobby.
I have several more interesting documents back at my hotel if you'd care to see them.
No, thanks. I imagine one of my fellow collectors is rummaging through those right now.
And then I suppose you get together and compare notes at your club meetings.
Yeah, it's sort of like that. I don't seem to find any data on the South Pacific here. Is that what you left at the hotel?
Oh, no, I wouldn't dare. Anything that secret I carry in a pouch next to my body at all times. Here, see for yourself.
Oh, boy. That's hot stuff, all right. No aircraft carriers guarding the Philippines at all, huh?
No, it's a gamble, but we're hoping that potential enemies won't find out about any of this until we can plug up the weak spots.
I see. And I guess that's why you want to hang around in the park and see if any of the other foreign agents are blabbing about it, right?
Oh, that's right, and I suppose I should be getting over there, even though I've enjoyed our little chat immensely.
Maybe I can save you a trip. I eat lunch in that park every day. I can assure you that nobody there has this information. Yet.
Well, that's really all I needed to know. So just drive me back to the hotel, and I'll mail my report to Washington saying, case closed successfully by Elmer W. Litzinger, Spy. And now let's call in Wally Ballou.
And I'm speaking again with the manager of this venture, Mr. Gilmore, who's traveled quite a few 1,000 miles already on the train. How are things
It's
today?
6,700 miles according to our speedometer here that tracks the mileage.
700. Now, you told me yesterday, we didn't have time to go into it very much, that some additions had been made to the trophy train.
Yes, we added a Chinese food counter where they can get their spare ribs, their egg rolls, their sweet and sour stuff.
Right.
And we added slot machines at the other end. And just this morning, we've added a little Maryland crab cakes counter and thick shakes. So,
well, you're appealing to all tastes, certainly.
Well, we have all kinds of people coming in here, and people get hungry when they go on a souvenir trophy train,
Really
we discovered.
I know.
And we find it's a high-profit item to carry these Maryland crab cakes and these thick shakes.
When you have them flown out here, when you this far west?
Right. They fly them out.
Fresh daily, in other words.
That's what we've been assured. We've had no reaction otherwise.
How are the souvenirs going? I know that's a thing very near and dear to the hearts of Bob and Ray, that their souvenirs...
The replica of Bob and Ray's high school diploma is moving very well.
Good.
It's one of the big items, I think.
Okay, well, I'm going to hang around. I'll have another report in maybe an hour or so to send back to New York. In the meantime, this is Wally Ballou in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, returning it to...
And now, the Old Line Sand and Gravel Company, producers and distributors of mud, invite you to ride with the men of Squad Car 119.
My name's Sam Finch. Me and my partner, Ralph R. Kruger Jr., we're the unsung heroes of the police force. We ride a prowl car at night, up the boulevards and down the side streets, always on the lookout for those who defy the law. A couple of weeks ago, they had a shooting out in a big home in Santa Cruz. We were sent over to dust the place for fingerprints. We were setting up our equipment when my partner, Ralph R. Kruger Jr., turned to me and said,
Place looks a lot more homey since they took the body out.
Yeah, nice place, all right. Really like that picture over the mantel. Must be a picture of the victim's kid.
Says underneath it, Gainsborough's Blue Boy. I thought the victim's name was Gilhooly.
Yeah, it was. Must be a picture of a neighbor kid or something.
Funny they'd dress a kid up like that in that funny suit, you know, even to have his picture taken.
Yeah. A lot of funny things about this case that don't check out.
Maybe the fingerprints will tell the story. Skipper said to be sure and dust the empty glasses on the cocktail table. Hand it to me, will you, Sam?
Sure. Nice-looking glass. Those pheasants on the side of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. These look like your prints on here, Sam. See? They've got the loop on the top and the swirl down here.
Well, they probably are my prints. I handed you the glass, remember?
Shouldn't have done that, Sam. It's going to look pretty bad in court. Hope you've got an alibi for 3 o'clock this afternoon. That's when the killing took place.
I was in a movie about 3 o'clock.
Anybody with you?
No, I went alone.
The jury isn't going to believe that, Sam. Better get yourself a good lawyer. You're going to need him.
Gonna take me in, huh?
I've got no choice, Sam. Your fingerprints are on the glass.
Yeah. Sure looks like I did it all right. Oh, I'll get it.
This is the skipper. You fellas can lock up down there and come back to the office. The killing has been solved by the man of Squad Car 227. The fugitive has been identified, booked, and brought to trial. In a moment, the results of that trial.
And while we're waiting for the outcome of today's exciting case, just a word from your Old Line sand and gravel dealer. To keep trespassers off your property, there's no substitute for a 2 or 3 foot layer of good, sticky mud. Have a carload or 2 dumped at your place today.
The fugitive in that killing was convicted of murder in the first degree. However, the laws of the state of California provide no punishment for first-degree murder, and the fugitive was ordered released.
And so another criminal is brought to justice by the unsung heroes of the police force, the men who ride the squad cars at night.
Wally Ballou is standing by in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. So come in, please. Wally Ballou.
Manitowoc, Wisconsin. Wally Ballou here at the Bob and Ray Trophy train. And as usual, the manager, Mr. Gilmore, is here with me. And at our last check a half hour ago, he mentioned that they have added some new items of food, Chinese food, and
we've
slot machines.
Maryland crab cakes and thick shakes. And just this morning, we instituted the famous Bob and Ray huge burgers. Now, what these are, they're 2 1/4-pound slices of pickle with a little hamburger on it.
Well, that sounds different, certainly. Has it
It's a pickle burger.
had a good reception, has it, Mr.
Very
Gilmore?
much so. We have you have your bun, then you have a huge 1/4-pound slice of pickle, then you have another bun, then you have another slice of 1/4-pound slice of pickle, and in there somewhere is hamburger. And then a bun on the bottom.
You know, it's fast becoming, this trophy train is fast becoming just kind of a moving cafeteria, isn't it?
Apparently that's what folks want. They want food more than look at... Well, you know, they look at the trophies and say, isn't that nice? But, hey, let me have one of those pickle burgers, please. And that's what's happened.
Well, I know that you're at the bottom of all this, Mr. Gilmore, and I'll have to say to your credit that you are a go-getter. You do come up with these genius ideas, and I think it's all to the good. How are the souvenirs going?
Well, as I pointed out in your last report on the air, that the replica of the Bob and Ray's high school diplomas are moving very well.
That seems to be the most popular item among the...
We have it done on old parchment paper. Gives it the look of antiquity. We're getting $2.30 a piece for those.
They do $2.30. They do go back a number of years, of course.
But these are, of course, duplicates. We have a printing house who turns these out for us on this...
have that little crinkly edge as if they'd been burnt around there, don't they?
Burnt brown edge.
Looks sort of like the Declaration of Independence.
I think it's the same printing house does it.
Probably is.
It turns out those declarations of independences.
Well, that's the story here, then, in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. And this is Wally Ballou until next time, returning at 2. And now, the Cretchford Braid and Tassel Company invites you to share another tender experience in the lives of the Pittmans.
I don't believe I shall ever forget that farmhouse in Oklahoma where my parents and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and grandparents and I all grew up together. The Great Depression was upon the land, but our needs were simple, and my father always brought in an ample harvest of dust to see us through. Thinking back on it all now, one day in particular stands out in my mind. I was in my room upstairs and went rushing to unlock the door when I heard someone knock.
Oh, hi, Ma. Hi, Pa. Please enter my humble lodgings.
Well, we certainly intend to, Jimmy Joe. What are you doing in here with the door locked, boy?
Oh, I'm just writing down all my innermost thoughts on this 2-for-a-nickel scratch pad, Pa. I'm going to be a great writer when I grow up, and it's never too soon to begin my unpublished works.
Well, I'm just not sure I approve of this. The money you spend for scratch pads could be putting fried dough on our table.
Oh, I'm well aware of how you frown on frivolous luxuries, Ma. But when I become a famous writer, I can make a lot more than these 2-for-a-nickel scratch pads cost.
Well, the boy could be right about that, Lucretia. I was reading just the other day about a writer named Scott F. Fitzgerald. He owns an automobile and even a tent on the beach in California.
That's right. And someday I'll be making $8 or $10 a week, just like he does. Want to hear some of the stuff I've written down here as my boyish thoughts poured forth?
Well, I suppose it can't hurt to listen. Go ahead, son.
Well, this is just in rough form now, but here's what I've got so far. A book of verses underneath the bough, a jug of wine, a loaf of bread, and thou beside me, singing in the wilderness. Our wilderness were paradise, enow. Of course, there'll be more than that to it when I'm finished.
Well, that's certainly plenty for my taste. Who ever heard of a 12-year-old picturing paradise as a place where he can booze it up with some strange woman?
Oh, gee, Ma, the only part I thought you'd hate was that word enow. I couldn't get anything else to rhyme. I'll try harder, though.
No, we don't expect you to be perfect, Jimmy Joe. Personally, I think that paper of yours will do just fine to plug up that big crack under the window there. So you put it in place, and then get to bed, boy.
Well, okay. Good night, Pa. Good night, Ma.
Good night, Jimmy Joe. Good night, Roy boy.
Good night, Aunt Sadie. Good night, Cousin Chinglo.
Buenas noches, Hernando.
Good night, little canaries. Good night, Grandma.
Good night, baby Lucille. Good night, everybody else.
Good night, Ma.
Ah, those dear, sweet voices remain loud and clear in my mind after all these years. My parents are gone, and my brothers and sisters have all moved away.
Good night, Buck Rogers. Good night, Gene Autry's horse.
Still, the pleasant memories of those happy times linger on. For even during the Great Depression, our house was a place of love and caring.
Good night, stars. Good night, moon.
And wherever I may be for the rest of my days, I shall always carry with me the fond recollection of my wonderful family and the old home where we lived.
This week's episode of The Pittmans has been presented by the Crutchford Braid and Tassel Company, makers of fine doodads for your home and fine epaulette fringe for your military uniforms. Next time you think of braid or tassel, rush into your neighborhood store and shout Crutchford. And be sure to join us again soon for another story of tender nostalgia in the lives of the Pittmans. Nitawak, Wisconsin, Wally Ballou with our final report of the day on the trophy train, and here to bring us up to date on what has been probably one of the most successful days, money-wise, in the train's current trip, Mr. Gilmore.
Thank you.
Now, you told me you wanted to make a special announcement, Mr. Gilmore, about an addition to the train that will go into effect tomorrow.
I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying. I was watching the people in line here. We've had some people go through, and some people have taken some of the Bob and Ray huge burgers without paying for them. That's to be discouraged. Yes, we're adding now a lentil soup sandwich that's served in a very thick roll, and lentil soup kind of soaks into it. And we sell it along with a thick shake and fries. And it's been a very big favorite here.
Is that a regional dish of some kind, or?
We call it, well, we don't know. We just call it the famous Bob and Ray lentil soup sandwich with fries and thick shake. And the folks seem to go for it. And we have it up on a big placard.
Right, I see. Well, that's about all the time I have for this broadcast and for today, but we'll be checking in tomorrow when the trophy train moves along to its next stop, which will be
I told you
Madison.
about the Maryland crab cakes.
Yes, you did. Right, back to Bob and Ray.
The basement workshop of Fred Falvey, the famous Bob and Ray do-it-yourselfer. Fred, I noticed on the way in that you put a lot of mirrors on the roof of your house since the last time we were here.
Yeah, that was a little project I finished the other day with the aid of simple tools and some leftover scrap materials. Our electric bill had been running very high, so it occurred to me to put mirrors on the roof and capture solar energy to heat the house.
Well, there's another great money-saving tip for you do-it-yourselfers listening in. But tell me, Fred, didn't the initial cost of all that mirrored glass for the roof set you back quite a bit of cash?
No, not at all. You know, when a woman buys a new purse, she always finds one of those useless little mirrors stuck inside.
Yeah.
So I just rounded up about 16,000 of those and glued them together on the roof with ordinary plumber's caulking compound.
Well, you certainly know the shortcuts for getting a job done. I still wonder about heating with solar energy, though. To tell you the truth, it seems, pretty chilly in here to me.
Well, that's because we're in the basement, far away from those solar plates I installed. Upstairs in our bedrooms, right under the roof, it stays an even 94 degrees, winter and summer.
Oh, there you have it, dear friends of the listening audience. Just another example of better living by doing it yourself. And Fred, I'm sure that all of the home handymen tuned in are anxious to hear the workshop tip that you'll be passing on to them this week.
Yeah, that was wall-to-wall carpeting, which has become so expensive, Ray, with the help of just a few simple tools like rubber snips and Eskimo bone needle.
An Eskimo bone needle, did you say?
Yes, I found that the number 6 size just about right for weaving a nice carpet nap onto old inner tubes.
Well, I'm not too handy around the workshop myself, Fred, so I'm afraid you kind of lost me on this project.
It's pretty simple. You can see I've already made a nice 18 by 15-foot carpet padding here by cutting up old inner tubes and placing the rubber strips together, piecing them.
And I suppose old inner tubes are readily available at any auto junkyard.
Any junkyard, and then it's no job at all to fasten the rubber strips together with a standard heavy-duty stapling gun.
Oh, you don't use the Eskimo bone needle for that?
No, that's for sewing the actual carpeting onto the rubber pad. You can go in and out with the needle, making little loops of wool yarn. I found it's a lot more economical to make your carpet out of ordinary children's kite string.
Well, now, there's a tip that every home handyman will want to make a note of, I'm sure.
Right, and it all came out to cost just about $600,000.
Well, it's going to be a lovely thing when it's completed. So once again, we've seen an example of how to live better by doing it yourself with Fred Falvey, the do-it-yourselfer.
Now to Blue.
Okay, standing by in North Platte, Nebraska this afternoon at the Bob and Ray Trophy train, correspondent Wally Ballou. Come in, please.
Platte, Nebraska. This is Wally Ballou, and we have a good crowd today. It's a little bit different kind of surroundings than it was yesterday in DeWitt. Here, of course, North Platte is the heart of some Nebraska farm country. Mr. Gilmore?
Yes, sir.
The folks seem to be really enjoying themselves, the trophies on the train, and the food that you dispense.
Yes, they have. They've been enjoying, they've been spending more time here. They're probably a more sophisticated group here in North Platte than they were in DeWitt.
Yes, I would think so.
Spending more time looking at the Bob and Ray souvenirs and some of the articles under glass in the trophy section.
Which is getting what the trophy train means, getting their money's worth, so to speak.
That's right. And
had any new kind of food today?
Well, we've added some taste treats, yes. We've added your corn cake and old-fashioned. Now, this is a candy that you buy. You buy this corn cake, and then you put this old-fashioned on the top, and you squash it down with your thumb.
Uh-huh.
And it makes it very nice. The kids seem to like it anyway.
Somebody over here has an attack of hiccups, I think.
And we also...
Yes, they do.
We've added 3 different flavors of soft ice cream now. It comes out like this, and it swirls around.
I think
kids seem to like it.
This fellow with the hiccups, I think I saw him eating some of those fried clams that you added to the menu.
That's right.
Well,
it's been pretty successful, but it's remaining brisk and cool here. I'd like to get this trophy train into more moderate temperatures.
Well, we're heading west, of course. We'll be on the West Coast by next week, I should imagine.
Uh-huh.
And that's about the time allotted me for now. I'll be reporting later this afternoon from North Platte. Now it's back to Bob and Ray in New York.
Close in 5 minutes.